support our city ecosystem. We will also need to think about how we can accomplish these things with the least amount of tax dollars, because we will not be working with much over the next few years. But fortunately, people within our community already are. The organization sponsoring this forum, the Delafield Citizens for Responsible Growth, is advocating for economic development in our downtown. The Delafield Arts Foundation and Friends of the Bark River are raising private funds and donating time to give back to the community. The Delafield History Center has started exploring the use of their space as an art gallery to be a cultural draw into our downtown area. City government is not just about what we spend our tax dollars on, but how we activate the community to engage together and make it stronger. Many people have asked me why I decided to run for mayor. Volunteering and giving back was not only encouraged, but expected in my small town Midwestern home. Both of my grandfathers put their lives on the line and served in World War II. One of my grandfathers, who passed in 2009, shared stories of the war and instilled respect in what his generation sacrificed for this country. He also made sure to tell me that the problem with my generation is that we don't step up to serve. I saw a problem last December, and then I saw a few more. I could have easily done nothing. My children and I will be one of the people in the city who benefits from the tax dollars spent on the Nagawicca path. And by running for office, I'm certainly not putting my life on the line. But I live in a small town today because I was raised in a small town, and I want my children to have those same small town values. By running for office, I am offering to give my time, energy, and the knowledge I have from a corporate career of change and leadership. Our tax dollars are limited right now. We have to make the right decisions on how to spend them. We need to evolve and grow, and also understand that we can build our future while honoring our past. I think we will have to. Thank you.
So Ken, I'm going to just give you a minute to, if you'd like to respond to any what Sandra said before we jump into your question.
I'm good.
Okay. So my first question, and I'm going to direct this first to Sandra, is sort of about the brand. I guess this will be familiar to you as a consultant. You know, we as a coalition think that most great institutions have a brand, have a something that is unique about them and differentiated about them. And we'd like to know what each of you think about what the unique brand is for the city of Delafield and what distinguishes it from our neighboring communities that have a lot of similarities, like Oconomowoc or Pewaukee. So Sandra, if you could start.
I mean, I think we have to decide what that is as a city. I've heard and talked to a lot of people about what they think we should be. Some people want us to be the area for silent sports within the city because we have great paths, we have opportunity, we have the fishing on the lake. Other people really want us to be known for culture because we have such a great and historic downtown. We really need to kind of figure out what it is that we want to be because I don't think that's clear right now. I think that's why I'm saying we need a strategy. We need to know what we're driving towards. I don't think that's my decision to make. I think that's something that we have to make as a full community. I think we have a lot of opportunity. One of the things that I've heard is that, we are a jewel right in the middle of Milwaukee and Madison, and that's very true. But being a jewel in the middle of Milwaukee and Madison is not a brand. That doesn't help people understand why they want to come and live and work and play here. We have so much to offer with our lake, with Lapland Peak. There is natural beauty here, but there's also a great community, and we need to kind of harness and figure out with the community what it is we want to be known for. So that's the starting point for the strategy.
Okay.
Sure. So, the way I see the brand of the city of Delafield, there's many different ways to look at it. You can look at the comprehensive plan, you can look at the various other downtown development plans that we have. There's a lot of documentation that's out on the website. But the way I explain it to people is pretty simple. We have a historic downtown, which really is a destination, and that's something that sets Delafield, the city of Delafield, away, separate or different from some of our other communities around in the area. None of them really have that particular characteristic. The other part I call is a separate part of Delafield, which is our Highway 83 and 94 corridor, right? This is where all our conveniences are. This is where we go to the movie theater. This is where we go grocery shopping. These are the things that when I first moved here, you have to drive to Brookfield to get to, right? Well, this has developed over those years, and I was super excited when the Home Depot came in because that was one of my #1 runs was to go out to Brookfield for those types of products. And then, of course, in the center of these two economic areas, we have Lake Nagawicca, which is another main draw for the city of Delafield. We have people that come and use the lake. We have people that move here because of the lake. That's a significant characteristic of the city of Delafield. And then, of course, there's the schools. We're so fortunate. We actually have 3 school districts that are within the city of Delafield. The 2 main ones are Kettle Moraine and Arrowhead. These are the reasons why people move here. They move here for the schools, they move here for the character, they move here for the conveniences. And so that's the vision that I have, to maintain and develop thoughtfully and maintain those types of characteristics moving forward.
All right, so next question, we're sticking with sort of big picture for the moment. Vision and long-term vision. We'd like you both to comment on, where you see the city evolving in the next 5 or 10 years. What under your leadership, what would look different? What would be preserved? Big picture, long-term vision for the city. Ken, if you'd start with that.
Sure. From a practical standpoint, following the comprehensive plan is what I helped work to develop. It's what the citizens of Delafield have helped work to develop. Elected folks as well. To me, that really represents both the short and the long-term vision of the city of Delafield. So that's the path that we should stay on. Certainly, there's some opportunities to make some adjustments within codes and things like this to try to address situations and tweak them around the edges where necessary and where there's public support for doing so. But really, we're elected to follow the comprehensive plan, and that's really what I intend to do as mayor.
So I think at the root of the vision that I have for the city is community. And I think that we need to figure out ways to engage and activate the community. We have many generations that live here. We have people who have families. We have empty nesters, and then we also have our aging community. And we need to bring those different sets of people together in ways that makes this a city that really respects and kind of engages everyone. So I'd really like to see us with our vision being more of a community who wants to give back. How do we actually get people to want to be participating in their city and volunteering at the river and going to the farmers market and coming out to the restaurants. We need people to be together. We need people in our downtown district. And so I think that all of the decisions that we put forward into the city need to be about building our community.
So let's get a little bit more specific now. And I will generally try to avoid giving speeches in my questioning, but this is going to be the one exception. It won't surprise you that this is a topic, 705 Genesee development that the Hendricks Group has been working on for some time. It's been a big issue for our coalition, and we've been supportive of it throughout the process. So, and Kent, you can correct me if I have any of my facts wrong on this, but I think this project first came to the city in November of 2017. I think it has been on 6 plan commission meeting agendas, plus several council agendas, not including a number of meetings that were associated with the change to the zoning code that was required to let it proceed. Most recently, on February 26th, there was a meeting that, frankly, our coalition and the developer thought was sort of the final bring this thing across the finish line meeting. And that did not happen. Part of the delay in this process was the zoning change, but the zoning obstacle to that development was not identified until, I want to say, April of 2019, almost a year and a half into the process. And that zoning change didn't happen until December of 2019. I'd like you both to share your perspectives on the length of time that this has taken to get through the city processes. I'd like your reaction, and this is obviously multiple question, I get it, so take your time and work through it, but I'd like you to comment on whether that process and that length of time is fair to the developer and reasonable to expect. I'd like you to comment on the impact on the citizens of Delafield, who have now, I can testify for our group, have tried to draw people out to meetings now 6 different times to support a project. Why did it take a year and a half to identify the zoning problem? And then sort of most recently, how can we have such a disconnect between the developer and the city in terms of what's expected and where we are in the process? So, sorry.